Good morning, dear student. The topic which I have selected today for my lecture that is called greeting. The concept of greeting is available in every religion. In every language, the first saying and shaking hand is called greeting. Whenever we have to meet with the family members and with co-workers, at that moment we have to shake hands and say something according to the time. So that is called greeting. Just like speaker number 1 say, how do you do? And speaker number 2 reply, how do you do? So in this situation, the speaker number 2 should not reply, I am fine, or say something else. No. Whenever the speaker 1 asks, how do you do? So the speaker number 2 should also reply, how do you do? In this situation, we can have some other sentences also in order to greet someone. For example, nice to meet you, pleased to meet you, glad to meet you, and meeting is nice. So these are also common words and sentences. We can use them whenever we have to meet with the family members, with the co-workers, especially with our friends. So there is one another word also which we can use instead of greeting, that is called hello. So hello is most usual word and is used in all situations including answering the telephone. For example, hello Ali, how are you? So hello, is anybody there? Because whenever we have to ask someone, we have to excuse someone, then we also use the word hello. So according to the time, situation of time, we also use in the morning time, that is called good morning. So it is often used by the family members or co-workers, just like good morning sir, good morning madam. So in informal speech, one may just say morning in place of good morning, because we have also experienced most of the time that the boss is coming and all the co-workers, the colleague, say to greet their boss just like good morning, and the bosses or we have experienced they say just morning instead of good morning. So good afternoon and good evening are not so common, because they also considered to be a greeting but not so common. So good afternoon Bob, how are you? Good evening ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. So good night is not used to greet someone, because uh, good night is not considered to be a greeting, but only say goodbye in the late evening or when you are going to bed, because whenever someone want to go to bed or even in the late night, then we just say goodbye or good night. For example, good night Omar, good night friends. So when we ask about the health of someone, then we can say, how are you? How goes it? How's it going? How's with you? How are you doing? How are things? How's by you? So when these words are asked in order to ask about the health of someone, so we have two possibility to answer them. One is in a formal way and second in informal way. So in a formal way we can reply in by using these words: fine, thanks, and you. Very well, thank you, and you. I am wholesome. I am above par. I am in the pink. I am safe and sound. I am as fit as fiddle. I am healthy. Whereas whenever we have to reply in an informal way, then we can just say fine, pretty good, pretty well, great, thanks, so, a bit under the weather, it means sick. Lousy, not too bad, okay, alright. So this was something about the greeting. Let me summarize. Greeting is a word which we use for the first time when we meet someone, even the another person we may know or may not, but we have to say something and even shake hands also. That is called greeting. For greeting, the most of the time the first speaker say how do you do, so the second speaker should also reply with the same words, how do you do. He should not say I am fine or something else. Similarly, another word that is called hello, that can also be used in order to greet someone most of the time, especially while answering on telephone. We say hello, is there anybody, because at that moment we want to ask the name of that person because we have to convey the message of someone. So the hello word is also used there. And another words that is most common, especially in the morning time, from early morning till 11:59, we use that is called good morning. But most of the time we have experienced that whenever the high authority, the high profile persons, most of the time reply to their colleagues, to their co-workers, to their juniors with just a word morning, not good morning completely. Similarly, after 11:59, whenever the time reaches to the 12 o'clock, so 12 p.m., so the answer changes, the reply, the greeting words changes. At that moment, most of the people say good afternoon till the 3 p.m. From 11:59 till 3 p.m. they use the word good afternoon. So at that moment, the good afternoon and good evening, these two words are not so common, but mostly some people use it, but they are not considered to be a great sympathizing words to be considered as a greeting. So that is another word. So there is one more word that is called good night, but good night is not considered to be a greeting, because good night is a word that is used whenever someone want to go to bed, even in the late night. That was the words greeting. So one more thing, whenever we have to ask about the health of someone, because the condition of someone, that the second person, the other person in front of me, that how do he feel, so at that moment we use some sentences in order to ask about the health of that person. So we can have two possibilities to reply the question of that person. One is called the formal way, and the second or called the informal way. So we have special words in both informal and informal way to greet that person. So this was about the greeting. Thank you so much. I hope you have learned something about this from this topic.